Jorge Pop, better known as Farruko Pop, found popularity on Guatemala's social media. The young man left his village and was ready to make the greatest sacrifices to realize his dream of becoming a singer. At first, everything was going extremely well, but then fate presented him with an unexpected and terrible turn. Jorge Sebastian Pop Chekok, also known in social networks under the pseudonym Farruko Pop, has always loved to sing, and since childhood through all his efforts to develop his vocal skills to become famous in the world of art. From the information published in the media, we know that Jorge was born in 2005 and came from a village located in the municipality of Livingston in Izabal, one of the 22 departments that make up Guatemala. There, Jorge lived with his parents, brothers, and sisters. It was a large family, and in fact, they lived near other family members, including his grandparents, who had a special influence on the whole family. All the members of this family did not live richly and were used to the conditions of village life, but not Jorge. He always wanted to become a star, to gain popularity and recognition, and to improve his living conditions. At first, everyone thought that it was just a childish dream, a whim, and soon he would give up the decision to become a singer, but Jorge was determined. Even after achieving success, Jorge still remained close to his family. Some sources indicate that the municipality where the family lived was mostly made up of rural laborers who farmed bananas, ule, chile, jalapeno, chiltepe, ochre, and African palms. Jorge did not leave his parents' home in protest, but only to chase his dream. Thus, Jorge left alone for Coban Paz, where he intended to contact a production company to help him advance his career as an artist and thus achieve his goal of becoming a famous singer. To get an idea of how serious Jorge's intentions were, it's worth noting that he left his parents' home with almost nothing. He was only 17 years old, he hadn't even reached adulthood, and from his personal belongings, he had his old clothes, a backpack, and a couple of coins. He got his mother's blessing and set out for Coban Paz on foot on a dirt road. For a while, he even had to spend the night on the street, as he had no acquaintances and not enough money to spend the night at home. Nevertheless, Jorge was a brave guy and was not even afraid to ask a famous singer to stay at his house and help him with his promotion. Soon after, Jorge managed to get in touch with a producer who, although he didn't work with celebrities, actively and quite successfully promoted young singers in social networks. The producer immediately warned Jorge that they would have to do a lot of work, as the guy had never studied music and had not even finished elementary school. The producer saw Jorge as an uncut diamond and took it upon himself to train him, and he promised to do his best to help him. So, Jorge started preparing to shoot some music videos and also started to be active on his social media. Jorge mostly enjoyed singing songs with popular themes, and he even managed to bring his own personality to them. In his first music video, in which Jorge starred under the pseudonym Farruko Pop, he performed a song by the band Super Me Firma. From that point on, Farruko began to work on his image and write his own songs, and his work began to gain popularity. His videos racked up hundreds of thousands of views, and there were many people in the comments encouraging him to move on. However, there were also many people who began to mock his voice and appearance in a very rude way. These negative comments upset him, but seeing that other people still liked what he was doing, he continued to move forward. It's worth noting that Farruko had a rather heavy and explosive temper. He easily lost his temper and often responded rudely to people who left bad comments under his videos. It was pointed out to him on his birthday when he turned 18 and came of age. He was told that he should grow up and stop reacting to criticism in such a way to keep following his dreams. A funny yet sad fact of Farruko's life is that at that birthday party, he was told that a piñata had been set up for him, but with the words that he was old enough and it should be his last. Farruko responded by saying that no one had ever made a piñata for him before, so it would be the first and last. Whether he had talent or not, it was obvious that he was quickly gaining popularity and his work was going viral. Even popular Colombian singer Maluma took notice of Farruko's work. He posted a video of himself laughing along to a song by the young talent. Some thought it was not a compliment at all, and that Maluma was just mocking him. But in another video, Maluma called Farruko an emerging talent. In pursuit of his goal, Farruko recorded several videos and even had the good fortune to perform a live concert with one of the singers he most admired. Espinosa Paz graciously invited him to take the stage at one of his concerts. However, despite his success, Farruko still at times longed for his family and even wanted to leave everything to return to them, to the people who loved him unconditionally no matter what. So, in early 2024, Jorge returned home and announced to his family that he was done with social media and everything else. He stated that he had failed to realize his dream and thanked everyone who supported him because they helped him overcome the difficulties. In one of the videos, Jorge revealed that he misses living in a big city and that he was very upset by the criticism that caused him to give up on his dream. He thanked his fans and also expressed his gratitude to the producer who believed in him no matter what. When Jorge disappeared from social media, the popularity around still did not fade, and his personality even caused controversy. The fact is that many believed that the producer promoted the young man and then abandoned him just to ridicule him and gather views. People said the producer promised to train him but didn't give him what he needed. Others said that if it wasn't for the producer, Jorge would still be starving and freezing on the streets, and he should have been grateful for what he got. Anyway, earlier this year, Farruko Pop participated in the qualifying round of a talent competition in Guatemala, but was unable to go any further due to his lack of musical training. During the announcement of the result, the judges announced that they would give Jorge a scholarship so that he could get a music education, noting that he had talent. The judges also said that Jorge's opponents had a better education and the training will help him enter the real competition. It is also worth noting that a lot of popular artists also discussed Jorge and his talent, or lack thereof, but all these arguments were actually meaningless. After that, Jorge started attending vocal lessons. At some point, an unknown person on social media offered him a large sum of money in dollars. When Jorge asked what he was offering the money for, this person said that what he was offering him was a very generous tuition scholarship so that he could get the education he deserved. The fateful day came, May 20th, 2024, the last day Farruko Pop was ever seen alive. On that day, he left his home, boarded a bus, and traveled to the 18th district of the capital city. After that, Farruko disappeared without a trace. He stopped answering calls and texts and stopped coming to vocal lessons. Naturally, this alarmed Jorge's family, and they immediately started looking for him. The family contacted everyone who knew Jorge and even filed a missing persons report with the police. Rumors began to spread across the internet, and the very next day, almost everyone knew that Farruko Pop was missing. Some people started saying that none of this was true. However, the family confirmed the rumors. After that, everyone who knew Farruko started following the investigation on social media. Soon, some details began to emerge. It turned out that the investigation was launched on the very first day the family reported Jorge's disappearance. It was conducted by a special criminal investigation unit, together with the forensic, kidnapping, and civilian police departments. The police conducted a series of interviews, questioning Jorge's entire entourage, including his family and friends, and even people who had spoken to him at the bus stop while he was waiting for his bus on the day of his disappearance. It was later revealed that these people had asked him to promote the establishment where they worked, to which Jorge replied that he had too much to do and left them in a hurry. Jorge's family and friends hoped that he would be okay and return home soon, but May 25th shattered those hopes. On that day, the National Civil Police and the Public Prosecutor's Office conducted 2 searches under court warrants at 2 properties located in the area Jorge was traveling to on the day of his disappearance. In one of these buildings, weapons were found, as well as Jorge's belongings, a cap and a receipt for payment with his signature. In another building, which had long been abandoned according to neighbors' assurances, police found a scrap of Jorge's clothing right above where fresh cement had been poured. The cement was opened, and underneath it was a hole. At the bottom of this hole was found a body wrapped in sheets. Municipal firefighters removed the body, and it was subsequently taken to the National Institute of Forensic Medicine. After forensic tests, it was confirmed that the body found was that of Jorge Sebastian Pop Secoc, better known as Farruko Pop. It was determined that the cause of death was strangulation and that Farruko had died approximately 4 to 6 days prior to the discovery of the body. Virtually the entire country followed this investigation, and when it was learned that Jorge was dead, everyone was shocked and horrified. Everyone who knew Jorge experienced incredible heartache, and Guatemalan President Bernardo Arévalo also joined in this feeling of grief. The president published a message on his social media accounts ordering the prosecutor's office to identify the perpetrator who took Jorge's life as soon as possible. He also expressed his condolences to the family of the young man, whom he described as a guy known on social media for dreaming of becoming a singer. The president also noted that many other young people in Guatemala had similar dreams and felt involved in his struggle to achieve his dream. For his part, Francisco Jimenez, head of the Ministry of the Interior, also spoke out on the networks, saying that Jorge was a credit to the national art, was popular, and that he was born to be a singer because he was a unique personality and had a promising future ahead of him. He also echoed the president's demand that the police should find and punish the culprit as soon as possible. The latest information on the case is dated May 26, 2024. In the wake of the tragedy, various hypotheses began to appear on social media about who could have taken Jorge's life. The most popular theory was that Jorge was taken away by some woman under the pretext of promoting his work, asking him to give a presentation. According to the theory, these people were a gang, and at the end of the presentation, they attacked Jorge and took his life. The reason for the attack could have been because Jorge saw the guns, money, and things they were hiding in that place. However, this is still a hypothesis, and there is no official confirmation of this theory. On May 26th, new searches were conducted near the buildings where Jorge's body was found, but it is not stated anywhere if they were related to the case. That search led to the discovery of a 17-year-old teenage girl who had been reported missing shortly before. The missing girl case also carried the status of Albaquén, which is the name of a warning in Guatemala for the abduction of minor children. On the same day, Jorge's funeral was held. Many people attended the ceremony, and many accompanied the funeral cortege in appreciation of his inspiring example of fighting for a dream. Remerno, at the same time, the first arrests were made. Police announced that they had detained 20-year-old Carlos Roberto Lopez, an 18-year-old Alan Mara, and a 17-year-old teenage girl who was with them at the time of their arrest was also detained. Several items were seized from the young men when they were arrested, including a wanted Italian brand motorcycle, 2 marijuana bushes, an altar dedicated to Santa Muerte, and their cell phones. Farruko Pop gained his popularity for his desperate fight for his dream. To many, he has become a symbol of struggle, as well as a symbol of a young man who wants to make his way in the world of art and show business. Despite his humble origins, Farruko has managed to achieve some popularity and gain some public attention. Farruko didn't deserve all those scathing comments that criticized his way of speaking, his creativity, and his physique, as he really put in a lot of effort to achieve his dreams. He was also a great example that it pays to go forward confidently without paying attention to criticism. Any person who gains some popularity will still face the fact that absolutely all people will not like him. Farruko's death came as a great shock to everyone who knew him. There are still many investigations to be done to find and punish those responsible for this tragedy. Jorge became a role model, showing that you should not be shy and afraid of him when you really want to achieve your goal.